What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Handmade and Beyond podcast. I'm your host, LL, leader of the handmadeandbeyond.com website and community. I'm a self-employed entrepreneur, an Etsy expert, and business coach who's figured out how to make my entire living with my handmade business. Each week, I'll dive into strategies and success tips to help you with your handmade business, with Etsy, and everything in between. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, what is happening? Hopefully everyone's doing all right. Welcome back to the Handmade and Beyond podcast. Glad to be back with you guys as usual. So I got another really good podcast for you as we approach the spring. So the springtime is always a good time of year because things start warming up. We're gearing up for summer, but it also means that tax season is almost here. And then most of us are like, oh crap, we got to do our taxes. It can be very cumbersome. It can be a pain in the butt, and it's really not ever a fun thing to do. Usually if you're getting a refund, then it becomes a little bit more incentivized for you. But otherwise, it is not necessarily a fun thing to look forward to doing and can be very tedious. But I want to do an episode on taxes from a business owner standpoint. Just give you some tips. Now, mind you, I'm not a tax professional. I'm not an accountant. So don't take my word as gold. Make sure you see a professional if you have questions about any of this stuff I'm going to go over. So just want to put that out there that I'm just a measly business owner. I'm not a super professional accountant or anything like that. So first off, if you guys haven't heard, taxes have been extended because of COVID-19 again this year. So the new date or deadline is May 17th to file your taxes. I probably wouldn't wait that long if possible. I know we like to put it off as late as possible usually because it can be a pain. But if you run into trouble or you can't find something or whatever, it's always good to get it done earlier than waiting to the last minute, as hard as it is sometimes. So you can write off taxes or you can write off business expenses whether you have an LLC filed or not. That is a common misconception. People think that they need to have an LLC filed to actually write off business expenses. If you are running a business and you have a side hustle going, you can still write off business expenses as a sole proprietor and don't have to necessarily have an LLC on file. Down the road, you may want to do an LLC just because it helps protect you from if someone were to sue you, which really never happens. But if they were to sue you, they could take your personal assets, where if you have an LLC filed, it gives you some protections. But again, check with an accountant about that to see what's best for your particular situation and if it's a good fit for you to do at this time. So I want to go over some possible write-off considerations of things that maybe you don't realize you can write off, or things that you haven't thought of before, or things just to ask your accountant about to make sure that you can write these things off. But these are common things that people write off as business expenses if they have a business. So the first one is basically just general business expenses, such as supplies, shipping costs, shipping supplies, materials to make your products, to make your goods, whatever goes into that. Those are all related business expenses that you can write off come tax time. So depending on your situation, you may have more or you may have less. Those are some basic ones that are usually fair game to write off. The next area is tools or subscriptions that you pay for for your business expenses. So maybe you have an SEO tool such as Alora, which I always recommend, or eRank, or one of those that you pay for to help you with your business. You can write those off. If you have other tools that you're using that you're paying for to do your business, such as like Photoshop or something like that, you can write that off. If you have a subscription, like if you're a member of the Handmade and Beyond community, you can write that off because it's helping you with your business. If you're not a member, you can always join, which I always want new members that I can help start, build, and grow their business. But that is a possible area that you can write off. Email marketing, if you pay like for Aweber to do your email marketing, those things you can write off as well because you're using all that stuff for your business. So that's pretty cool, right? The next thing is education related, and people are like, well, what education are you talking about? I'm not in school anymore. Well, you can continue to grow your knowledge base if you, maybe you pay for a course, or maybe you pay for a webinar, maybe you pay for a book. There's lots of ways that you can continue to develop as a business owner and invest in your business, which I always recommend doing, continuing to learn and grow and find new strategies, new tips from experts, people that have been there, people that have done it. You should always be continuing to find resources and knowledge to grow as yourself as a business owner, and learn different strategies and techniques from other people, other experts to implement in your business. It's always a good thing to do and continue to do as you progress in your business. The next thing that you can write off is equipment that you use for your business, such as your computer, or maybe your printer. Maybe you have special machines that you use to produce your goods or help you produce your goods. That stuff is all business expenses that you can write off for your business. So, if you bought a computer this year or in 2020 that you use for your business, you can write that off. Now, you can't write it off again usually the following year, but it's within that year, whatever business, equipment expenses that you incurred, you can write off. The next big one that you can write off is vehicle mileage. So whatever you use your vehicle for your business, you can write off that mileage at the end of the year. So this would be common usage is usually to and from the post office, or maybe you have to go to a store to pick up supplies, wherever you're going for your business, and you can track that mileage and total it up and write it off at the end of the year. There's a lot of apps out there that you can track it. You can manually import your mileage where you go to and from. So definitely get an app. There's a bunch out there. Just search, on the Apple Store or Android store for mileage trackers. There's a ton out there. A lot of them are free. All you need is a basic free version. And then at the end of the year, it'll give you a total, and you import that total or that spreadsheet into your software or give it to your accountant. The next one is a home office deduction, which most people are eligible for. If you have an office, a space that you use for your business, maybe you have a workshop or a craft space that's only for your business, you should be able to write that off. But that is a big one that has, it gets a little murky, so make sure you check with an accountant about that, just to make sure you're following the normal protocols and you're not getting flagged for audit or anything like that with the home office deduction. But a lot of people will qualify for that deduction, and it can be a decent sized deduction. So those are the main expenses that I wanted to go over with you guys that you haven't considered or don't realize that you can write off to save you some money at the end of the year. Mind you have to track all that stuff. You have to have receipts and be able to back it all up. But I recommend, as far as tracking goes, I recommend QuickBooks, which you can get a discount on if you do it through the Etsy platform under the integrations tab. It'll redirect you to QuickBooks, and it's a monthly fee, but it's totally worth it, because what you can do is sync with your bank accounts and your credit cards. Maybe you have a business credit card or you have bank accounts that you use. It'll sync with almost all of them and automatically import all of your transactions. And then what you do is quarterly or every year, you go through and you flag the business transactions, the personal transactions. It separates it all out for you, so you don't have to manually add all that stuff up, which I used to do, which is nuts to think about now, is print out all my statements and add everything up and separate it all out. It's craziness. QuickBooks does it all for you. It's totally easy to use, a huge time saver, and it's pretty inexpensive. Like I said, you get a discount if you do it through the Etsy redirect under integrations. But I would definitely check it out. And then once you're done, once you go through all your transactions, you can choose to download the PDF to give to your accountant, or you can actually seamlessly transfer it into TurboTax. And it'll have all those transactions tabulated and categorized, so TurboTax knows exactly what are business expenses, what are not. And then from there, you just upload all the rest of your stuff in TurboTax outside of your business transactions. So it's a big time saver. I love using QuickBooks. I think back to the time that I wasted before going through that stuff manually. It's just crazy to think about how I did that. But a lot of times when you start a business, you do stuff the hard way before you realize there's an easier way. So that's what I'm trying to do for you guys, and make it a little bit easier so you don't fall into the same pitfalls and traps and make the same mistakes, so you can focus on saving time and put more of that time into your business. So hopefully that helps, guys. as far as the different write-offs and some tools that you guys can use to help you come tax time, make it a little bit easier and less frustrating and less scary. But outside of that, I'll be back next week with some more tips, strategies, techniques to help you grow your Etsy business. If you guys aren't already a Handmade and Beyond member, I would love to have you. As always, I just uploaded a brand new, shiny new Etsy roadmap, Etsy success roadmap. It's the exact plan and strategies that I've implemented in my business to grow from nothing to a top 1% Etsy seller and a six-figure earner the last 4 years in my Etsy business. And I want to help people do the same. You also get an Etsy community help forum that you can ask questions. You will also get monthly live coaching. You guys can get it for 30 days free, test drive it, see what it's all about. I know that you guys will love it and want to stay. If not, risk-free, cancel anytime, but there's a link below that you guys can join. I'd love to help you start, build, or grow your Etsy business, your handmade business, give you feedback, give you critiques, give you strategies, and just have a support system that maybe you guys need to bounce ideas off of. So I'd love to see you guys in there. Other than that, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll be back with you next week.